Hello, runners, and welcome to our Relay 101 covering the 18th annual Reno Tahoe Odyssey, 10th annual Capital Odyssey, and 8th annual Comstock Odyssey. The RTO is one of the oldest overnight foot races in America, and we're excited that you're joining us here today to figure out and find out a little bit about what makes this event so awesome and all the particulars you're going to need for race day. I'm here, my name is Matt Balzer. I am the race director. I'm here with Kelly Corrigan. Kelly is our VP, and we're going to take you through everything about the RTO here this morning. Before we get started, we're sure that you'll have questions along the way. All you have to do is ask. We're here, we're available for you. Our contact information and the information for more of our staff will be here at the end of the presentation. But of course, pretty much everything you need to know is on the website, renotahoeodyssey.com, and in the Runner's Handbook. This is a quick overview video, and the Runner's Handbook is your true resource for everything that you're going to need on race day. During the presentation today, we'll cover the basics of the RTO and overnight relays, safety guidelines, getting ready, what you need to do to get prepared, key tips to keep you safe during the relay, surviving, training tips, things like that, and what's new for 2024, because we do have a couple of changes this year.
All right, so basics, relay basics. There is a lot of helpful information. It's on the website, actually on the planning tab, and it says helpful information. Under that, there's going to be 3 different tabs. There'll be relay basics, tips, and checklist. I also want to make mention of the Captain's Hub. That is a new tab for us, a new button for us. It's actually on the home page. Basically, in all of these, on all of these tabs, there is a ton of information, as Matt said, a lot of it in the Runner's Handbook, but just reinforcing some other things, giving you access immediately to some quick references, including the checklist that you can print off and everything. The other thing I want to mention, there are links on all of those tabs to the PACE worksheet, which is going to come in very handy, and we can talk about that in just a little bit. Matt mentioned the Runner's Handbook. That is up right now as of the recording of this. So it is up on the website, and there will be updates because this is a 178-mile relay race, and there are always changes. So please keep an eye on the Runner's Handbook. Basics, here we go. It's 178 miles-ish, 36 legs. You can see all 36 legs on this map. And usually teams are 12 people, so everybody does 3 legs. The Capital Odyssey is going to be starting from Carson City. That's the last 12 legs of the RTO, joins it right in progress. The Comstock Odyssey are the last 6 legs, so they start in Virginia City. Those both start early in the morning on Saturday morning. Join the RTO right in progress, as I said. For the RTO, the expectation is that you finish it in 33 hours, which is an average 11-minute mile pace. So keep that in mind and use that pace worksheet, as I mentioned. The leg maps are all going to be posted as well on the website with instructions for runners and for the vans. And again, you should be well underway in this process. So RTO, typically 12 runners. There are some crazies out there who do it as a 6-person ultra team. Kudos to them. We also have some experienced ultra runners, ultra team runners who have chimed in and created a tips piece for those particular teams. Thank you to Heidi and EJ for doing that. Back to the 12-person. So if you have a 12-person team, again, I mentioned you're going to each do 3 different legs. So as an example, runner 1 is going to do leg 1, 13, and 25, and you're going to cycle through that. The different, if you have fewer runners, which some you might have, some end up dropping, you're just going to have a lot more fun getting creative on how you're going to pick up those legs. Most teams have 2 different vehicles. There is a running vehicle and there is a resting vehicle. So, for example, at the beginning of the race, you have runners 1 through 6 in vehicle 1. They are the running vehicle. While they're running, van 2 is considered the resting vehicle, off doing eating, hydrating, whatever they need to do, but also keeping in contact with van 1 so that they can show up at the exchange point to be there and get that taken care of. The van exchange points are 6, 12, 18, 30, and those are very, very busy. So we ask that all of you pay a lot of attention at those. There's going to be runners, there's going to be vans. Please drive safely, please run safely. Capital and Comstock, those have 3 to 6 runners and typically have just one vehicle because they're not running overnight, that kind of thing. So anyhow, next. This chart is actually on the website as well, relay leg assignments, and I'll just address right away the red. A lot of you already know we have a little change for exchange point 12. There's construction at Homewood where we typically have had it, and we have a new process in place, so please take a look at the leg maps. Runner 12 will be coming into one location. We have ham radio operators and volunteers that will make note and reach out to a secondary exchange where your leg 1 runner will be ready to take off. So they come into one exchange, they leave out of another exchange. We radio ahead so your other runner knows when they can depart. So anyhow, that hopefully is just a change for this year. So the leg distances have been modified. Please take a look at that. This chart is also helpful when you're trying to assign legs. You can see they're all rated, whether it's easy, moderate, most difficult, most challenging. We don't need to know who's running every single leg. That's up to you. The one important leg that we will be tracking you down is leg 4. If you happen to be the fastest male runner, fastest female runner, or you place in 178th place. So that is a super handy tool for everybody as you go through and assign your legs. Next, additional basics for runners and the teams. Slap bands, you're all given a slap band. This is kind of a ceremonial handoff, if you will. So those are in your team packets at check-in, and we expect that you hand them off to each runner as you exchange. Again, with exchange point 12, we will be giving you a new slap band as the other runner takes off. So that is what you need the slap band for. Tracking your time. You're tracking your time is very important so you all know when your vans are coming and going and when to get to the next exchange point. Also, if you are a team competing for your division, and we do ask you to track your times. We give you a time log. It's in your packet that you get at team check-in. A lot of teams will have a clipboard. They'll put that log sheet on it. They'll have a watch and go old school on that. That's fine. You can do that however you want to do it. But if you are going to be competing, we need that log turned in at the finish line. If you just want to use it for tracking purposes, you can do that as well. Like I said, it's a very handy tool so you can kind of gauge where you are on the course. Charging your cell phones and having chargers and cords in your van is going to be key. A lot of your nighttime gear now might be you may need to have that charged. So have all of that in your van. Just a little tip there. Also, just a reference again, that pace tracker worksheet that is on the website. It is going to be able to tell you if you are behind or ahead, if you might be asked to skip a few legs if you do get behind. But it's a great tool to figure out where you are on the course, how you're going to be progressing along all the different legs. Another item is make sure that your teams all plan ahead and have their own supplies. The exchange points are not aid stations per se. They're there to track the safety and make sure all the teams are coming through. So make sure you have what you need in your vans. So it's not all, serious and everything. There are some fun and games. So contests that we have. These are the contests here. Best team name, which we will announce. Matt and Amy will be choosing, and we'll announce at team check-in and at the captain's meeting. Best decorated van, best shirts, costumes, most spirited team, and most spirited exchange point will be voted on by you. You will be given ballots in your team check-in in your packet. So those get turned in at the end. Each vehicle can vote for those two things. So please do that. Otherwise, we want you out there enjoying your time and enjoying Tahoe and everything else, having fun, supporting your runners, all the other teams. The other thing I wanted to mention, Donner's Downfall. So that's another fun kind of, it's not really a contest, but that is our one and only time trial. So your leg front four runner really should be your strongest runner, also because it is one of the most difficult legs on the course. We will give you a timing chip to go around your ankle. That will be, again, in your team check-in packets. You will make sure that leg four runner has that on their ankle when they start. And when they finish that leg, there'll be a bucket and they can drop that ankle bracelet right in there. So we just want to make sure we get everybody's time, get everybody accounted for on that. So that's another fun one. And again, we do give awards for first, fastest male, fastest female, and 178th place. So if you can figure out how to get 178th place, good luck. Circle of Fame. A lot of you have seen my emails already. Circle of Fame is when you have completed all 36 legs of the RTO. We have a number, I think we were over 12 people at this point who've emailed us saying, this is my year, I'm going to have them all done. So let us know, because we want to make sure we have all your special goodies at the finish line, so we can celebrate with you and announce that you are done with that. So let us know. The other thing that we will have at the finish line, we'll have a table for anybody who is celebrating their 5th, 10th, or 15th RTO, or 5th or 10th Capital, or their 5th Comstock Odyssey. So just a special recognition for all of you. And again, we appreciate your dedication and loyalty to come and doing this crazy thing with all of us.
All right, let's jump into a little bit about the race week schedule. But before we get there, you'll see the first bullet point here, which is the question I get asked more than anything else this time of year. When do we find out our start times? Start times will be released on May 8th. I believe that's a Wednesday, come up in just a couple of weeks. And at that point, then we'll start getting out we'll get out all the start times, as well as talk to teams for any adjustments that need to be made from then till the start of the race. But diving into race week, on Thursday, May 30th, that is the day before the race starts, we have our captain and team check-in. This is 100% mandatory to come to that captain's meeting. What you'll be doing there is showing things like the night running gear that we'll show you a little bit later in the presentation, checking in to make sure that your whole team's there, answering questions. We have our expo set up for all the lovely RTO gear that we have, the trucker hats, everything that you can buy to commemorate your journey. That'll start at 4:15. Captain's meeting is at 7:35. That's also where I announce the winner of the best team name, so you want to be around for that. And then later on that day, get lots of sleep, because the next morning we kick off with race day. So that's Friday, May 31st this year. It's at Wingfield Park, downtown Reno. And as you'll see, one little change that we have is a 6:30 start time. So in the past, we've always started at 7. We will now have a 6:30 and a 6:45 start times before we hit our regular 7 and beyond. And we're doing that because we want this race to be attainable for as many people as possible. We want you to get through the entire race with the highest chance of success. We will also have a really, I think, simple process in place for when runners get behind, or when your team gets behind this year. Essentially how that will work, it is broken down in the runner's handbook, but how that will work is at either the van exchange points, so 12, 18, 24, and 30. If you're behind the cutoff time in the workbook that Kelly mentioned for that team tracker workbook, if you're behind that time coming into those van exchange points, your team will be asked to skip the next 3 legs. That doesn't mean that runners don't get to run. It just means you skip the next 3 legs. You will then double up for the last 3 legs of that van's 6-leg segment. And then hopefully you'll get back on track, continue regular scheduled programming for the rest of the race. But 6:30 start time, hopefully we can avoid as much of that as possible. The last wave, the crazy fast teams, are going to be at 4 p.m. These are the teams that also happen to finish first. They will be hunting everybody down as they come around, and there's lots of cool things that people have with the kills on the road as they're passing, as the fast teams are passing some of the earlier teams. And then on Saturday, June 1st, which is the finish day, again, you've been running all through the night. The event does not stop. Early on in the morning, we'll start the Capital Odyssey at 2:30 a.m. A little later is the Comstock Odyssey. I believe that starts at
usually 7.
7-ish. Yeah, 7 a.m. And
we'll
then
let you know.
The Finish Line Festival will be open from 10 to 5. And that's teams are typically finishing, the really, really fast teams as early as about 9:30. And then our final teams finish right around 4. But we've got a big party for you all day there. And when you're done, lots of kudos. Get your free beer if you're 21 plus, and then the best night of sleep of your life.
Phew.
Moving on to some of the highlights, safety things that we want to cover. The really important stuff, because our number one concern, our entire organization, we are here to keep you safe and let you have fun. So we'll go into some of the safety things. This is very detailed in the Runner's Handbook again. But Kelly has some samples here of our night gear and what is required. So first of all, and most importantly, is a really, really great reflective vest. These are required anytime from dusk till dawn. They're also required on legs 9 through 16, no matter what time of day it is. That is for the most part, our Lake Tahoe sections of the race. Those are narrow roads. We want you to be as visible as possible. We also require that you have a headlamp on and working during those night hours. And this year we're going with 2 blinky lights on your back. One of the things we noticed last year was just, unfortunately, the lack of great reflective and visibility gear out there. So we're asking everybody to step it up a little bit. Those are really narrow, twisty, windy roads. If you're running on the side of the road at 2 a.m. and a car comes around that curve, we want you to be as visible as possible. Also, if you get out of a vehicle at any time, so if your van has to stop or you're pulled over to the side of the road and the teammates want to get out and cheer on their active runner, we ask that they have reflective gear on as well, because they are now in the roadway. Of course, only pull over your vans when it's safe to do so. We do not stop or block traffic for any of the race, and we ask that you respect the rules of the road when you're out there.
And Matt, I'm just
yes.
going to quick chime in. So the night gear, we're calling it night gear, the time running at night or in the dark. We will be asking every single team, regardless of their years of experience, to show 2 sets of the full nighttime gear at team check-in. So please come prepared for that. We need to see it. We need to know each vehicle has at least 1 full complete set. So, and there's a picture, obviously, in the presentation here. Moderate required, and then what would be spectacular to have on. So there we go. Sorry.
Cool. No worries. Thanks, Scott. And then the last little bit of this highlight, if you've done the race before, you know how beautiful this course is. If it's your first time, you'll see how beautiful this course is. It takes a lot to get all of the permits and all the areas that we go through. So we ask absolutely that you respect all the property owners, the quiet zones. We'll go over a little bit about that in future slides. But the entire area, no littering, staying off people's personal property, being quiet in the areas that we ask you to be quiet of. That's what allows us to do this race year in and year out. Couple more quick safety rules. Comply with traffic laws, whether you're running or driving. So I mentioned a little bit about the driving, pulling over only where it's safe. We ask that the follow car, so the car that's following the runner, that they just check in briefly with their runner and then they go to the next exchange point. Those are the areas where we have ample parking for people. We don't want to be slowing traffic down in any way. But most importantly for the runners, again, this is not a closed course. It is open to traffic. You must comply with traffic laws for things like crossing intersections. Wait until it's safe to do so if you're in a crosswalk, or wait for the light if you're crossing at a crossing light. Some people like to run with a running partner, especially during those darker sections and the narrower. That's totally fine. You can have another teammate jump out and run with you. We just ask that there aren't any bikes that follow you along. Headphones is another big one we get asked about a lot. We prefer no headphones. If you absolutely have to wear headphones, we ask that they're either the bone conducting kind that don't go in the ear, they just sit on the outside of your ear, and they allow ambient noise in, or if you're going to have an earbud in, that you have it on the non-traffic side so that you can hear traffic as it's going past.
Please don't wear the big, huge ones covering your ears.
Yeah,
we will pull over and tell you to take them off.
No noise canceling headphones out there. That is for your safety. I know it's nice to get into your favorite jam, but safety is the most important thing. I mentioned before quiet zones. The quiet zones are leg 7, the start of leg 8. So that's as you're kind of coming out of the forest area there into some of the areas in Truckee. Leg 16 and exchange 16, that's our rolling exchange. It's in the Tahoe Keys. That is a private neighborhood, and we're just on neighborhood streets. That also happens to be very, very late at night or very early in the morning. It's kind of like our 10 to midnight, 1 a.m. So we ask that you're respectful there. And then legs 22 and 23, that's Genoa, again, very early in the morning, 4 or 5 a.m. And we're wanting to respect those neighborhoods. Next up, bring a copy of the leg map. Our awesome manager of course logistics here, Leland, he did an absolutely incredible job updating all of the leg maps. They have unbelievable turn-by-turn directions for both the runners and the vans. You'll see little QR codes on the top of each of them. So print those out, have them handy. They are a great resource to make sure that nobody gets lost. It's 178 miles. That's far enough as it is. You don't need to be running any further than that. As far as runners go, we are almost always, for the entire race, we are running with traffic. I know that sounds weird. It's counterintuitive. But you are running with traffic because the vans are constantly pulling over, you're exchanging on the same side of the road. If you ran against traffic, that means that there's just constant road crossings, and we don't want that. Because you're running with traffic, again, that's why it's so important to have the appropriate safety gear. We also ask that you run as far over on the shoulder as possible. Stay to the right of the white line, designating the actual roadway where you'll have motor vehicles. And be alert. That by far is the most important thing. Again, that comes back to headphones, but just being aware of the space that you're in, where you are, listening for things around you. Being alert is by far the best thing you can do for your own safety. And we want to keep you safe.
And have fun, all at the same time. So getting ready. All right, you should be well on your way, right? Yes, everyone nod out there. All right, so you definitely want to make sure that you've been training. You don't want to start running the day of the event, that's for sure. Try to train for the total length of your leg. So that's why we usually recommend train as if you're training for a half marathon kind of thing. So you want to build up your endurance and that kind of thing. Practice as many of your legs as you can, especially if you live in the area. If not, try to simulate it. If you have an uphill leg, then run run somewhere that you've got an uphill or a downhill. So try to replicate that so that you are absolutely ready for this. And yeah, you're at altitude. So depending upon where you're coming from, we know a lot of you are from out of state. You're going to be fine. You'll be good. Running at night, definitely make sure that you have worn your gear and you know how it works and how it feels as you run. You want to make sure you don't have, you've got your night gear on, you're all lit up great, and then you get cold and you put your hoodie over the top of everything. And we did see that last year. So please, if you're going to do that, go pull over to the side, take off your stuff, put on your hoodie, put your stuff over the top. So practice so you know what to expect. You don't want it to chafe. You want to make sure everything is working. So definitely practice running that. And if you're local, we do have a practice run coming up, depending on when you watch this, on May 5th, that allows you to run as a group with us to do that. But please get those in. Start running 2-a-days as we get closer, twice a day. Morning, weird, odd time on morning, later in the evening. Try to run as you get closer, maybe even 3 times in a day. So do that so your body's used to it. That's not a normal thing to be, running 4 miles, getting in a van, sleeping in the van, then getting out and running 6 miles. So, get that repetition, make sure you know what you're in for, what your body can expect. So, if you're local, come to our practice runs. As of the time of recording this, we've got 3 left in May. They're amazing. We've had excellent turnout. We hope you can be here. But basically, we want you to be ready physically, mentally, because we want you to set yourself up to be successful and have a fun time, and check this off as like an incredible experience, an amazing challenge that you have achieved, because it really truly is an amazing accomplishment. So anyhow, that's kind of getting ready, and on to the next.
Yeah, one more thing with getting ready: be prepared for any weather condition.
Yeah.
We can have, Tahoe, Reno and Tahoe here kind of right around the 1st of June. We can experience anything. We could have snow, we could have thunderstorms. It could be 60, perfect, no wind and sunny, just like it was last year.
Yep.
But be prepared for anything. Moving on to key tips during the relay. Number 1 is know your legs. I went over this in the last section. It's 178 miles. You don't want to get lost. Know your legs. If you can run them beforehand, please do so. But the maps that we have are tremendous resources. So study up on those and make sure you're ready for race day. Be attentive and alert. That's for your safety and the safety of everybody around you. Stay in contact. This is stay in contact with us if anything might happen out there, or you have any questions, but also stay in contact with your van and teammates. So that's that one check-in thing, especially around the Lake Tahoe legs. Check in quickly with your runner some point during the leg, and then move on to the next exchange point. There are also areas along the course where the van can follow with their runner for a little bit when it's much more open, like in Carson City, and then back into Reno on Saturday on the finish of the event.
And I'm going to just chime in here, Matt, just at the nighttime runs, or in the dark runs, this is when it's really helpful to make sure you know what your runners have on. So, is Bobby dressed like a Christmas tree, and Susie has on, pink lights and flashy things on her feet. So remember what your runners are wearing so you can identify them as you go along the course as they're out there running. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Number 4 here, drive ahead. This is for the van that does not have an active runner. So once you are done with your legs, let's say that's 1 through 6, your van's done at 6, you're going to hang out at that awesome Dolan party there at our exchange point. But after that, drive all the way to the next van exchange. There's just simply not enough room on the road for both sets of vans to be following and trying to check in and leapfrog runners. So when you're not actively running, just make sure that you go to the next van exchange. We've got some awesome van exchanges this year. As I mentioned, number 6, we've got Dolan there. They have the Taco Odyssey, food for everybody games. It's an amazing experience. Kelly mentioned we do have this year with our leg 12. We've got some interesting things going on there where you don't always come together. But then the next one, 18 in South Lake, that's going to be a big Red Bull party this year. And then 30 up at Virginia City, we've got the Nevada Army National Guard there, as well, with all sorts of cool demo trucks and things for you to check out, as well as just a big party in Virginia City. So if you're not running, get there as soon as possible. Number 5, I couldn't stress this more. It takes about 480 volunteers. Please be really, really nice to them. They are out there, a lot of them in the middle of the night. They're trying to make your experience even better. Be nice to the volunteers. And be really nice to the neighbors and motorists. A lot of the neighbors come out, they love this event. They love the event because you all do such an awesome job with being kind and courteous and respectful of their property. They'll come out and they'll cheer you on. So give them a high five, thank them for allowing you to run through their awesome communities. Don't run too fast on your first leg. I've made this mistake before running the Odyssey myself. I think probably everybody has.
So much adrenaline. Go.
As Kelly mentioned, it's more like a half marathon than it is a 4 or 5 mile run. So kind of start out like you would be starting out a half marathon or even a marathon. Don't go too crazy on that first one. Number 8, there's no shame in power walking. We've got some steep hills out here. This is a mountainous region. Whether you're going up Kingsbury or you're heading up to Virginia City, a lot of the stuff around Tahoe, don't be afraid to power walk. A lot of the times that's faster than running, and you'll save yourself for the next leg. Number 9, no vehicles over 20 feet. So a standard kind of short sprinter van is about the max, or a big truck. We don't allow anything over that because it's just restricted parking. We don't have room for motorhomes or any really, really long vehicles, limousines, in case any of you were thinking of renting or bringing your personal limousine. We won't allow that. The only place we do allow RVs is Exchange 24. That is a van exchange down in Carson City, and it is at the Walmart there. So huge parking lot. A lot of people will park their RV just so that it's a place they can get a nap in and just kind of rejuvenate before they get along for the rest of the run. And read the handbook. The handbook is where we will post updates. Inevitably, something, hopefully it's minor, might change between now when we record this and race day. We will put it in the handbook. We will also have all of that at the captain's check-in meeting for you as well, which is why those two are mandatory to cover.
All right, surviving the relay. These are, again, just kind of some helpful hints, keep you happy and safe and all that good stuff. Stay warm and dry. So as Matt mentioned, there are tons, the weather could be anything during that time. So, bring the right gear. Make sure after you finish your leg, you stretch, you do what you need to do before you get back in the van, because everyone will tell you start getting stiff and then you get out of the van again and it's like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm 800 years old. So make sure you are doing some, warm-ups before you run, stretching when you're done, all of that good stuff. Some people take foam rollers. They'll bring those little sticks. Bring what you need in the van and make sure that you are taking care of your body because, you've got several legs that you need to run. So please make sure you do that. And Matt already mentioned if you need to walk a little bit, you can. So make sure, again, take care of yourself as you do something like this. As far as kind of eating, don't take, don't take pain medication. That's not real smart. Doesn't mix very well with running. Food and nutrition, we're not experts. We can kind of give you like our 2 cents. A lot of you already know, keep it simple when you are doing this. Maybe pack some sandwiches, some turkey, energy bars, bagels, rice cakes, that kind of thing. Everything sounds great when you're out there and you finish your first leg. I don't know if I would advise a gigantic burger and fries or pizza. So you might want to think that and just save that for the end. But pack on some carbs before you go. Do some things, the right proteins when you finish. Peanut butter, bananas, chocolate milk, all that good stuff. So just be smart on what you eat. I know a lot of people will figure out the hard way. Some of you have already figured it out. We are happy to give you any other kinds of tips on that. Bring extra clothes. A lot of people, and what I've done before is I have, 2 Ziploc bags, and I'm already wearing what I'm wearing for the first leg. I put in the second Ziploc, this is what I'm wearing for the second leg, and then the third one, and so on, so that I have it all, I can squish it all down. I don't take up much space in the van. I'm respectful of all the other space, the lack of space in the van, but do something like that. I usually take a second pair of shoes just in case their weather goes south or if I want to switch shoes, depending on what legs I'm doing, that kind of thing. So Anyhow, be sure to bring extra clothes. You may want that. You may not want to be wearing the same thing for all 3 legs. So there's that. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. I will wink and say avoid Bloody Marys at Virginia City. We want you to drink lots of water. So you do you. And there is a checklist again on the website, so you can print that off. It's everything that we've come across that we suggest you pack for a runner, that you pack in your van. We just want to help you along, especially if this is your first time. If a lot of you have some veterans on your team, ask them what they take. Make sure your team knows what to expect in the van so that you all have a great time.
All right, what's new in 2024? We've got some updates to the course, so I'll cover those really quick. As of right now, many of you will probably know this if you've done it the last few years. We still have Exchange 16 as a rolling exchange. So that's the part where we go through the Tahoe Keys. There's not a specific exchange point or exchange zone. You take care of this one on your own, and it's just anywhere along that long stretch of road through the Keys that you can exchange over to runner 17 at that point. The big one, Exchange 12. So as Kelly mentioned, that one was Homewood. Now, because of their construction, we've got 2 different exchange zones. We've laid this out really, really good. It's on the website. It's called Guidelines for Exchange Points 12A and 12B. And essentially what happens is you're going to have van 2 come into 12A. We're going to ham radio forward to 12B, and then that van 1 takes back over again at that point. If for some reason you have, I heard from somebody yesterday, they're doing both legs 12 and 13. So they're going to have to get shuttled. So if you have an instance like that, let us know. We can take down your time and make sure that that travel time is deducted if you're running both of those legs. Exchange point 18 is going to be a little bit of a change from previous years. It's at the village there in South Lake Tahoe. As many of you know, that Rayleigh's that was there collapsed in the snowstorm a couple of years ago. They're doing a lot of construction, so the parking is just going to be around the back. It's going to be generally the same place, just parking in the back instead of in the front. If anything else there changes, we will let you know as we go. And we're hoping that's it for changes to the course this year. Sponsors. We have some awesome new sponsors. And we're very, very proud and pleased to bring on the Nevada Army National Guard as our presenting sponsor. As I said, they'll have a really cool setup there in Virginia City, Exchange Point 30. Dolan Auto Group again at Exchange 6. Basically everybody's favorite exchange point for years and years and years now because of what they do. Red Bull is coming on. They're going to be keeping you fueled all throughout the event, handing out samples and doing a big nighttime party there at Exchange 18 in South Lake Tahoe. And again, Revision Brewery for the beer at the end so that you can get your free beer along with some of the food options that we'll have. There are a ton of other sponsors that we have thanked on the website. If you have the means to say thank you to them or visit those businesses, we greatly appreciate it. And it's a wonderful way to say thanks for supporting this event that you all love so much. And the merch, we've got some really, really cool merchandise this year. That will be on sale starting at the captain's meeting on Thursday before the event, at the start line on Friday, and the finish festival on Saturday. Big truck hats, sky apparel, all the great things to commemorate your journey.
And I wouldn't wait to get them. Get them. If you see something and you like it, get it, because it may not be there by the time the finish line happens and everything. So yes.
Yeah, we ran out of basically everything last year. We ordered more this year, but we expect we'll still sell it.
Some new stuff. Yeah, new stuff you haven't seen before. So basically, if there's anything you take away from this, read the runner's handbook and print a copy for each vehicle. Print off all the leg maps and put copies of them in each vehicle as well, because the leg maps now contain, as we have mentioned, a lot of information. We have pulled information from old runners' handbooks and put them onto the leg maps. So everything you need to know from driving to running is on the leg map. So that would be the huge takeaway from this. Runner's Handbook, leg maps, read them all, look at them all. And if you have any questions as we go along, we are here for you guys. Our emails are on the screen. Let us know. This is it's like the most fun you guys could have running. And truly, nobody knows what we're talking about until they've done this. So kudos to you, or congratulations to you. We are happy to have you. We're excited to put this on. We love it as much as you guys do. We want to keep doing this, so we want to make sure all the rules are followed and all that good stuff. We want you to have a great time. So we appreciate you watching, and we will see you very soon.